Alrighty.
Okay, roll call. All the members of the board are in attendance. All of our professionals, township manager, engineer, solicitor, and our chief of police. Township meetings are recorded for the purpose of preparing the minutes, and the recording is destroyed after the minutes are approved. The meeting will be posted online on the township YouTube channel. The link can be found on the Board of Supervisors page on the township website. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name and address and the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of facilitating the business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 3 minutes unless such time is extended by the chair for good cause. Individuals are requested to remain in their seats and to respect when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on any non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed, but prior to the adjournment of the public meeting. So first thing on our agenda this evening are the meeting minutes for I'll get there. We're approving our meeting minutes for January 5th of 2026, January 20th, and February 3rd. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Okay, seeing none.
Wait, there is one. Trying to remember which meeting minutes it is. In the area, there's a statement where it indicates that Linda Jansen provided a quick history of the Zieglerville Hotel, or Zieglerville Inn, which was nice that it was mentioned, but it failed to mention that she did agree to actually put together a write-up for us, and I think that should be included in the minutes as well. I'm trying to remember which of the ones it was.
Yeah, you're right. It's on the third one. A brief clarification of the history of the Zieglerville. So you want to add to that and agreed to provide it? Okay. Sorry. So that was in the February 3rd general meeting, right at the end.
Yeah.
Public comment. So you want to add to Linda Jansen, Simmons Road, provided a brief clarification of the history of the Zieglerville Inn, comma, and agreed to provide a written history or a written account.
Yeah, because the goal was, and it was also mentioned that that would be used to put an annotation underneath the piece of artwork that represented the Zieglerville Inn underneath of it.
Right. So keeping in mind, we're not required to put verbatim what was said, but I think if we add and agree to provide it in writing,
Yeah.
that will cover it.
Yeah.
And what we do with it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it needed to be in there in order to make sure it happened. So,
Would we like to approve the meeting minutes conditioned upon those changes being made, or do you want to move that to the next meeting?
Jason, you have that. You just add.
Do you make those additions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
Supervisor Orff makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda is the treasurer's report. For the sake of brevity this evening, we had done this at another meeting. We have A through Q on our agenda this evening. We have a bunch of ABCs and some reports that need to be done. We are going to make sure that the treasurer's report and the professional staff reports will be posted on our website for the public to inspect. I will be reading off the fund balances as of 2/28 of 2026. Our general fund is $612,562. The general capital fund is $505,095. Hydrant fund is $15,748. Open space fund, $380,676. CD for the open space is $106,397. The CD for the general fund is $1,393,872. Liquid fuels is $463,118. Developer escrows is $434,505. The sewer fund is $318,777. The sewer fund escrow is $53,279. Sewer capital fund is $479,088, and the CD sewer fund is $212,112. We will move forward with the township boards and commissions reports.
We have to approve the bills.
The bills, I'm sorry. So we're going to approve our payment of the bills for January 31st through February 27th of 2026. In the general fund, the bills are $115,112.79. The sewer fund is $30,819.34, and the general capital fund is $599.59. Can I get a motion to pay the bills?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. I will make the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Sorry, can I just ask Jason or Chief Cass, is there anything of immediate interest that we should report on any of the reports? I'd like to hear it.
The report itself is pretty self-explanatory. In the packet that was provided to the board is the joint statement from the District Attorney's Office and the Police Chiefs Association regarding ICE. It's obviously everyone knows it's a very topic on both sides. So if I would just ask if the board gives permission for it to be posted on the township website, lays everything out of what we will and will not do.
Okay. Jason? Okay. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Okay. We can move on to our township board and commission reports. Is there someone here from the EAC?
The EAC met on February 10th, and we are signed up to volunteer for April 11th for the Perkiomen Watershed Conservancy Spring Cleanup. If anyone else wants to volunteer, just go to the PWC website and search for Perkiomen Stream Cleanup. The EAC has communicated with the Township Manager and the Planning Commission to begin discussions on an updated lighting ordinance with Dark Sky International and neighboring township ordinances to review. The EAC is planning with the Park Board a Mother Earth Day on May 9th at 8 a.m. It'll begin with a bird walk at Cuddy Park, and then it'll move activities to the Village Center Park. The Township and the EAC sponsored a presentation held here last Thursday focusing on controlling deer browse in your yard, and information from that presentation will be posted on the EAC website at a later date. And this month's Did You Know is a link to Green America's webinar on starting your climate victory garden. There's still time to start your seeds in your own home. So go to greenamerica.org and look under their food and climate heading. So, any questions?
I have none at this time. Anyone else? Thank you, Diane. The Open Space Committee?
Their meeting,
They didn't have
their
a
meeting was canceled. Yep.
Okay, the Open Space meeting was canceled. Park and Rec?
Hello, everybody. So basically what I'm going to be doing is just giving you a list of the events that we have coming up. So we did have our meeting last night. We're going to be having book club this Saturday, March 7th. It's going to be over at Engage Art Studios from 10 to 12. And we read, or you should have read, Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. We have our Easter egg hunt on April 4th at 10 a.m. over at Coble Park. Diane already mentioned the Perkiomen Watershed Cleanup as well as the Mother Earth Day, so I don't need to mention those. Well, I will just say a couple things about Mother Earth Day. We're going to be having a one-day plastic recycling initiative where we're partnering with Upper Frederick Township on that to help them collect single-use bags. We're also going to have a marker, pen, pencil, and colored pencil recycling event that we're doing through Staples. And then we'll have some kids' activities. We're going to be creating Mother's Day cards because it is Mother's Day weekend. We'll have some seed planting and hopefully making some bird nesting balls. We are hoping to have our Park Board Spring Prom on May 30th. The idea behind this is that get some people out to the Bella Brew. It's going to be from 7 to 11. We're planning to have tickets be $50 a person, with $20 of that going towards park upgrades. And then we'll have music, entertainment, and then also some light refreshments. So those are the events that we're having. There is an operational request that I wanted to bring up that we discussed last night at the board. As our events, they're getting more popular, more people are coming out. What we're asking for the board to do is give us a very clearly defined and approved process for accepting payments for ticket purchases, refreshments, that kind of thing at those events. Jason, at last night's meeting, he did say that he's going to prepare a more formal procedure for accepting payments at these types of events, and he does anticipate it on having it at your March work session. What I'm asking you is very respectfully requesting that you expedite the review and consideration of the payment procedures. This is timely because we have the May 30th event, and we really want to start advertising and collecting tickets for that. So we just ask you to take a look at it and try to expedite a decision.
Thank you, Katie.
Yep.
Okay, Planning Commission?
Greg's on for Planning Commission.
Okay, Greg.
I previously, I sent a memo to the board ahead of time summarizing our meeting on February 19th. But just real quick, we had a conditional use application for 2025 Big Road, which we reviewed, and we recommended that the Board of Supervisors consider approval for conditional use. That was for the steep slopes only at this time on the property. We also had a conditional use for 219 Fulmer Road. Again, that was steep slope disturbance only, not the plan. And that was basically just for their sewer connection. And we recommended that the board consider that for approval as well. Just the steep slopes again. We had a brief discussion on the zoning district, village mixed use again. And John, our county planner, has agreed to come into your next work session and go over the memo that we had presented you. And I'm currently working on a separate memo that details exactly what we're recommending there for you to look at. And the final agenda item was the Mang Road Special Study Act 537. And we thought that needed more time than we had the other night, so we have pushed that to our next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Yep, that's it. Thanks.
Okay, now that we're finished with our township boards and commissions reports, we had an executive session this evening with the board at 6:30 to discuss personnel. Our first agenda item this evening is the conditional use for 225 Big Road. This is a continuation from the last one. Peter, is there anything you'd like to add?
Correct, yes. So
Peter, John's on his way here. He requested that this potentially be moved down on the agenda until he arrives. He said he should be here around 7:30. Is that possible, or do you need to address this first?
Yeah, we can certainly move it down. It's
Okay.
not a problem.
Okay,
I think it's going to be much ado about nothing, but we certainly can wait.
okay, thank you.
Does that work for the board?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we
thank
can wait. Okay, well, we'll put that aside until Mr. Panisa gets here. The next agenda item is Smith Road, the waiver for steep slopes.
I guess that would be mine. The property owner has been working to address issues to close the stormwater and grading permit for 36 Smith Road. The only issue remaining is that constructed slopes are steeper than the maximum allowable by code. The code says cut and fill slopes shall not be steeper than 3-to-1 unless otherwise stabilized, except as approved by the board when handled under special conditions. So the property owner is requesting a waiver of the requirement at section 77-4D1 to allow the slopes to remain as currently graded. I offer no objection to their request. If the board is inclined to consider that motion, just a slight adjustment from what was on your sheet, I would suggest that the motion be I move to grant or not grant the waiver request to chapter 77-4D1, allowing constructed slopes steeper than 3-to-1 as currently exist in and around the infiltration basin in the front yard of 36 Smith Road.
Carol, how far off are they?
They're closer to 2 to 1 in some places. They're very steep by the front yard, but that's really, by the front of the house, but that's really mostly a challenge for the property owner to mow. Everything's vegetated and stabilized, and because it's vegetated and stabilized, I don't offer an objection tonight.
Thank you.
I don't know if this is for you, Carol, or for Peter. If someone were to injure themselves on this steep slope, the fact that we approved it,
Absolutely, it doesn't come back to us at all. No.
Okay.
This is entirely the homeowners, on the homeowners.
okay, thank you.
All right, does anybody have any other comments or questions in regard to this waiver? Okay. So the motion before us this evening is to grant the waiver request to Chapter 77-4, allowing for constructed steep slopes steeper than 3 to 1 in the interior of the existing infiltration basin at 36 Road. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Orff makes the second. All of,
Before there's a vote, I think that the motion does need to be amended to match the language set forth by Ms. Schuler in her, so I just would make that request.
I'm sorry, I thought that what was here was what she said. I apologize.
No, she changed the last half of the second
The
sentence.
small correction was, it's not just in the interior slopes, it's in and around the infiltration basin. It's minor, but we want to get the details.
So we'll be safe to
We'll make
say,
a motion to accept what Carol had put into it.
That would be the simplest way, yes.
Okay.
And do we also need to add the D1 after Chapter 77-4?
Do you think that's important, Peter?
No, well, I think the way Carol stated it at the beginning, and I believe since this is being recording, our minute taker can go back and figure that out. I think that was the appropriate language that she stated, and that's what I would put forth as the motion.
Yep, she said Chapter 77-4, D1.
Correct.
Great, okay.
okay, the motion stands with the additions as per our engineer, Carol Schuler. The motion was made by Supervisor Hexter. The second was made by Supervisor Orff.
Terry, you made the motion.
I'm sorry. Supervisor Sachs made the motion. Supervisor Orff made the second. All of those in favor say aye.
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 And the motion passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is the Park and Rec Coble Park Survey Results Presentation.
Okay, I know you guys have been waiting for this all year. We did have the survey open all year last year, so we're excited to present the results. Are you going to be able to get the slide deck up there, Jason, or should I just speak to it? Okay. Perfect, thank you. So first of all, thank you for your time. Tonight, we're looking at the future of Coble Park. We recently conducted the survey last year to understand basically how our residents are actually using the park and where they would like to see us invest. The results are pretty clear, and they gave us a solid roadmap for moving forward. Tonight, we're not asking anything of the board. We did just want to give you the results of the survey so you can kind of marinate on it. And we're going to take this back as well and look at some action items that we can take and use for moving forward with the Coble Park Community Survey results. So moving to the next slide. So just a quick overview. We did have a fantastic turnout with 206 respondents. We're very thankful for Montgomery County Planning Commission for helping us do this and letting us use their SurveyMonkey tool. And they also helped us with kind of gathering all the results and putting it all together and so that we could actually put together the presentation for you guys. I think the most important thing that came out of this was that 82% of the respondents were actually our own Lower Frederick residents. So this isn't just outside traffic coming in, this is actually our neighbors that are speaking and telling us what they would like to see happen at Coble Park. We do have a pretty split demographic. About half of them are families with children that were aged 0 to 11 who are mainly focused on the playground. The other significant group is our 55-plus community. This represented about 36% of respondents, and for them, the park's not really about the slides, it's about the walking track, the benches, and the overall atmosphere that we have there. So what we have to do is any plans that we have going forward, we have to make sure that the plan is going to serve both children, families, and then also the seniors that are using parks. I mean, I know when I drive by there, we actually see people there with walkers that are out on the track walking. So this is a real community park. Moving to the next slide. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump in. So right now, Coble Park, it is underutilized. Most of the residents that responded are only visiting once a month or less, and many of them are actually choosing local parks that are close to us, but not in our township. And the first question that we have to ask ourselves is why? The answer is really safety. While many of them feel safe, we did have 35% of the users expressing active concerns, and that kind of seems like a high number for a municipal space. A lot of it was around the playground equipment. So it's not like they were in fear of their lives at the park. It was just they had some concerns about the safety of the playground equipment. And then the second big thing that came up was variety. 45% of the users feel that the current equipment that we do have there is repetitive or boring. So this leads to a pretty clear mandate for the park board and the township. About 72% of the respondents explicitly wanted new equipment, and then only 10% think that we should leave things the way they are. So the community is essentially giving us a green light to modernize. However, we know that playground equipment does cost money, and we know that there's a lot of stuff that's going into that park that has to happen first before we can actually improve our playground. So this is really kind of a future plan, and we want to make sure that we start looking for different funding opportunities that'll help us get a future playground when we're at that point. Any questions so far? Okay. Moving to slide 4.
Sorry, actually, I have a question.
Sure.
So a couple slides ago, I was talking about equipment lacking for 0 to 3. What do we currently have there for that age group?
0 to 3.
I think we have some things for that age group, but it's kind of mixed in.
I could not tell you what is specifically for 0 to 3.
I mean, those little things that people sit on and that rock.
That wobble.
Yeah, the wobble things and what else? Some of the slides.
Yeah,
But it's kind of mixed in with the
other
So maybe-
equipment.
anyway.
The climbing tower, the swings, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would definitely be something that we'd have to take into account when we do look at the type of equipment that's going to be there. We need to make sure that we're looking at all of the age groups, not just a very specific age group.
And sorry to take up time, but what I've noticed in other places is they're separated. So you get the little kids with the little kids stuff, and little kids don't want the big kids kind of running over them, and then you have the bigger kids stuff in another place, and I think that's a good setup, so everybody's happy, hopefully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and safe. That's
Yeah,
a
and-
big concern.
And to tag on to what Marla said, but especially with respect to swings, which are, and I'm glad I used to say it was popular because it did turn out to be popular.
Yeah.
But it's, when I have my grandkids, they almost always have the little bucket chairs for them.
Which is something we're lacking.
So that
Yep.
they can't fall out of them. And meanwhile, the 7-year-olds, taking his life into his hands like they all do.
Yeah.
So I think the separation thing is good, but you got to have one or two of them close together because you have a mixed age group. But yeah, I was pleased with the results of the survey from the standpoint is it does provide a real clear direction. So.
Perfect. So just moving to the next slide. Oh, wait, sorry, you were on that slide already, Jason. So what the community wants. So when we did ask about the features, thank you for segueing into this, they brought up the big 4. So swings, climbing structures, slides, and playhouses. But the qualitative data, the actual comments that we received, told an even deeper story. So the biggest hidden complaint, and I think we all know what it is, and I don't think it's really that hidden, the tire mulch. Parents had so many stories about their kids coming home covered in black rubber dust. And they're concerned about how hot the surface actually gets in the summer as well. So when we do look at new equipment, and I know that previous park boards have looked at some of this equipment and they have taken this into account, but we want to make sure that we're doing this as well. We have to consider first a cleaner, cooler, and then ultimately a more ADA accessible surfacing that's going to be there. And then we also heard some requests for some more imaginative play, like sensory equipment, a zip line. I don't know how safety the zip line would be and if you guys would be considering it. But that was some of the suggestions that came up. And then this way we can kind of try to make Coble more of a destination park and keep our residents in our township versus going to neighboring parks. Moving to the next slide. So I did kind of touch upon this in the beginning. A lot of the people that go to that park, they're not using the playground. They're using the walking path. They're using the field in the middle. So it's not just about kids. We have to make sure that our adults and seniors who have been very vocal in the results are taken into account as well. The walking track's a major asset, but we all know that it's showing age with the deep cracks and the drainage issues that turn into ice patches in the winter. So fixing the track is a top priority for our older residents. We do have that LSA grant out there, so hopefully that'll be successful, and that will address the track, the parking lot, and some of the drainage issues. We also saw a really small contingent of survey responders who wanted pickleball courts, but those survey responders also had some complaints about taxes and all of that, so I'm not quite sure there was the connection that you need to pay for this stuff. So I just have to put it out there, which whether we repurpose the existing court space or add new ones, the ask is there of the township for pickleball courts. And then finally, simple quality of life fixes, more shade for the playground, a permanent bathroom solution, and believe it or not, I think this one could probably be low-hanging fruit, the bee problem in the pavilion. That came up as well. So any questions about what our older community is looking for at the park?
No, but where does the bee problem come from?
I'm not quite sure, but that's something
Is it-
maybe we can have.
I mean, is there anything you can do about it, or is it just a chronic?
You have to treat the wood that's there, but
Okay.
yeah.
So we already have some action
Or
items.
citrus, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
quick question related to, we have basketball courts out there. Do we have any information on how, the usage of that? Because is that what you were considering?
That's one of the things that folks suggested. On the survey, you will see that people do use the basketball courts. So that's just, I just wanted to make sure that all of the data,
Right.
some of the more responses that we got that were more repeated were included.
Okay,
So, yeah.
all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Yep. So moving to the next slide, this is the final slide. So just community partnership and next steps. So I want to end on the most encouraging note. We did have 31 residents that raised their hand and basically said that they wanted to help. So we already have this core group that said they would either offer their time or financially contribute to this. So essentially, when we are ready to take action, we will have a Friends of Coble Park group that already consists of people that want to help and use the parks and are excited to help. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we come up with a plan to keep them engaged. We're not going to necessarily be doing a lot of work on Coble Park. This is more for the future. So we talked at last night's park board meeting about when we have this May 30th event, reaching out to these people specifically and saying, hey, this is how you can get involved now, even if we're not ready to start moving forward on Coble Park. So our next steps are pretty straightforward. Reach out to those volunteers and make sure that they're engaged. Address some of the low-hanging fruit, like the track repairs, which with the LSA grant, and then bee control with almond oil. Thank you, Peter. And then also exploring some different funding options for the playground equipment purchase. or replacement. Has the bones to become the heart of our township, so we want to make sure we're giving residents the safe, modern, and inclusive space that we all deserve. So if you have any questions, happy to take them. And I'm also happy to send you the full report. It's basically just the data dump from SurveyMonkey, but I figured it would be easier to summarize this all.
Okay, I have a quick question related, and it's either you or Carol will probably answer this. With respect to the track, is it possible to take on the track initiative with, I know the drainage situation is a much bigger problem, at least in where the one baseball field is that's never used because it's always wet. So I didn't know whether it was possible to fix the track for the walking track so that people with walkers can walk around it without fear of hitting a pothole. But I didn't know whether that couldn't be done until the drainage issue is addressed, so.
Supervisor, if we could take a look at that. I know one of the problems is drainage. We get ponding and icing along the track. And part of the design was an adjustment to that grade to resolve that, as well as drainage to help resolve that. So we can take a look at whether we could do that in advance of the drainage. Certainly, it was planned initially to
Right.
do the drainage first, but we can take a look at that.
Okay,
And just to add to Carol's, for the LSA grant, we did put in for phase 1 through 4, which did address the drainage, the track, the parking lot, 1 through 3. It addressed the drainage, the parking lot, the stormwater management. So if that grant does come through, we will be able to address the things that Carol helped us come up with, so.
great,
So
thank you.
fingers crossed, and we'll see how it goes at the end of the year, or beginning of the year, so.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you have been there, but I would recommend a park board field trip to that wonderful park behind the Trap Borough Building.
Okay.
If none of you've been there, it's fabulous. And I know it was a lot of money, and they got a lot of, I mean, it was some specific thing. It was in honor of the trooper who was, what was his name? Do you remember? Siska, yeah. And they've done a really good job. They've incorporated the, some handicap things. They've also incorporated some environmentally friendly things. They have a thing where they show where water is feeding into like a rain garden. It's fenced around, and they have one area for like 0 to 3. It's labeled. There's like a little bridge that goes over to the other area, which is for whatever, 5 to 11. And it's just, again, it's probably beyond our reach, but it'll give you some ideas
Yeah. Okay,
of some
perfect.
things we
Thank
can
you.
do.
Cool. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
No, but thank you, Katie. It was a
Perfect.
good
Thanks,
presentation.
guys.
Thank you. Next on our agenda this evening, we're going to circle back. Looks like Mr. Panizza has arrived. We can go back to our conditional use hearing for 225 JEP subdivision continuation.
Yes, so this is a continuation of the hearing that was started on February 17th. The sole purpose for this continuation was to allow the planning commissions to review this application and provide us with recommendations. I am having marked as Exhibit B8 a memo from Greg, or from the Lower Frederick Planning Commission to the Board of Supervisors dated February 27th, 2026, providing the recommendations concerning the conditional use application. In summary, they recommended that the Board of Supervisors approve this conditional use application. Likewise, I am marking as Exhibit B9 a memo dated February 19th, 2026, from the Montgomery County Planning Commission to the Lower Frederick Township Board of Supervisors. Likewise, this recommendation memo also say they support this application. Unless the applicant has anything further to say in regards to these two exhibits, or if any of the parties, and I'm not sure if anyone's here. Yeah, have anything to say, that is all that needs to be done. We can then close the hearing, and the board can decide when they wish to decide. So first off, does the applicant have to say anything in regards to either of these review memos?
No, nothing to say, but can you please send copies of those memos to us?
Yes, absolutely. I will email them to Mr. Lyons, if that works.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. Thank you.
Yeah, that won't be a problem. I'll see if I can do it tonight. With that being said, and Mr. Panizza, you have something, or?
Just want to point out that Dan Lyons is.
Right,
attending
yes.
Zoom.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. And Dan, you have nothing to say, correct? Does he have-
Can you hear me? Yes, I have
Yeah.
nothing, Peter. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. So with that, and with the fact that none of the other parties are here, I would recommend that the hearing be closed. Once the hearing is closed, the board has 45 days in which to vote on a decision at a public meeting and subsequently, or at the same time, issue a written decision on this application. I'm assuming the board wishes to move forward with the meeting right now, and we'll have deliberations at another night on this matter.
That would be appropriate?
Okay, great. Does the board wish to close the hearing at this time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, usually that's a motion and a,
Okay. Is there a motion on the table to
I'll
close
make
this
a
meeting?
motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Orff makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
so, Mr. Panizza, the hearing's closed, and we will get you a written decision in 45 days. And when the board decides it's going to take a vote, I will let Dan know if you wish to appear at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Next item on our agenda this evening is the 2026 Township Equipment Bid Award.
I think that comes to me again. So the equipment rental contract provides equipment operators and labor for road work at hourly rates. The township received one bid in response to the invitation to bid on equipment rental. Sachs and Sons is the lowest responsible bidder with a bid of $85,345, and we're recommending consideration of award. I can advise the board that prices are equal to or slightly lower than those bid in 2025, and that the bid rates are reasonable and compare favorably to construction contractors in this region.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I will abstain from this.
Supervisor Sachs is going to recuse himself. Anyone else? Any questions? Comments? Okay. The recommended motion before us this evening is a motion to accept the bid from Sachs and Sons in the amount of $85,345 for the 2026 equipment bid, and further authorize the township manager to sign all necessary paperwork to complete the contract. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Supervisor Orff makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. The next item on our agenda is the Melbourne Hill Subdivision Toll Brothers amended declarations of covenants, easements, conditions, and restrictions, agreement approval. Peter.
Yeah, this is more of an acknowledgement on your behalf. You don't have to execute or sign this particular agreement. What happened here was, as you know, after the plan for this project was originally prepared and signed and recorded, it became known that there was actually an issue of one of the boundary lines with the neighbors. Toll worked out that dispute with the neighbor, which ended up moving the boundary line. So they needed to prepare a new an amended final plan showing the change boundary line. It didn't impact the development in any way other than it shrank a portion of the open space. But likewise, in addition to having to change the final plan, they also had to change some of the legal descriptions for all the easements for this project. These easements were already recorded. So in changing the legal descriptions, I needed to prepare a new document for the new legal descriptions, replacing the old easement and old legal descriptions. That's a long explanation of what this document is before you. It is a unilateral declaration, so it's only signed by the property owner. It is not signed by the township. This is more of just letting you know, hey, we got this, and unless someone has an objection to it, we will go ahead and record it along with recording the amended final plan, which I believe you guys all signed 2 weeks ago after the last meeting.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments?
No, Peter, just to state something for the town, for the residents, nothing actually changed with relationship to agreements related to responsible parties associated with trails and open space and so forth. It's exactly the same as it was previously.
It's all exactly the same. Literally, the only thing that we're changing are, we are correcting the size of the property.
Okay. Thanks for clarification.
Yep.
Okay, so that was an FYI.
Just an FYI. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is the Melbourne Hill Subdivision Toll Brothers Financial Security Number 2 release request. Carol?
Thank you. So a second request for reduction of financial security has been submitted for the Melbourne Hill subdivision. We have evaluated the request against work completed to date, and we're recommending a reduction in the amount of $804,113.49. Following this release, the remaining escrow balance will be $2,244,971.31.
Carol, could I ask you a question?
Yes.
The last escrow release was back on August 5th, 2025, right? Just so we know what additional, at a very high level, again, this is for the townspeople as well as myself, a very high level, what additional things have been completed according to plan that results in our confidence that we can drop the escrow by $800,000+.
Sure. So you actually have a detailed list on a summary sheet.
Yeah, that's why I wanted you to give a high level.
It addresses everything that was was subject to this release. And I'm scrolling down right now. It was a lot of storm sewer. So I'm looking at a lot of storm sewer pipe and inlets. Some additional paving was done. Some additional sanitary sewer line was installed. And concrete curbs were put in. So that's a pretty substantial item right there. Subgrading and backfilling against those curbs. That was a big one. And then base paving of the road. So all of these quantities were checked in detail by our site inspector to confirm that everything we're releasing is something that we physically measured in the field and has been completed.
Thank you very much, Carol. That's very helpful. It
My
makes it, it's nice to know, kind of like at a high level,
Sure.
why we're releasing these funds.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions or? Okay. So if they were to up and abandon this entire thing tomorrow, there's enough sufficient funds in there that the township would be covered, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right, not seeing any other questions or concerns, any comments? Recommended motion is to authorize financial security release number 2 in the amount of $804,113.49 for the Melbourne Hills subdivision verified by the Value Engineering memo dated February 24th of 2026, and further authorize the township manager to sign on behalf of the township. Can I get a motion?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. I will make the second. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next up under agenda is the Creekside Way authorization for township engineer pre-grant submission work for projects. Carol.
Thank you. So the board has an extensive memo from me dated February 24th explaining the matter with an awful lot of pictures and detail, but I'm going to try and summarize it as best I can. There's an existing cross pipe on Creekside Way, and that pipe has corroded, so it requires replacement. The pipe is rather deep, and it connects into a basin, so the replacement is not a simple cross-pipe day of digging replacement. We investigated whether the low-volume road grant program could be used to fund this work. Pipe replacement is looking at it to be about $35,000. It's not a small job. I prepared a memo that explained that use of the low-volume road grant program may be possible, but it will require survey and design to incorporate basin modification for water quality requirements. So we're seeking guidance on the board. Really, the choice is, would the board like to expend money now on survey and engineering to prepare a design that is likely to be funded by the low-volume road program for the entire replacement of this pipe and some basement enhancements, or simply keep it as a straightforward project in the coming year for pipe replacement, which, again, we're looking at about $35,000 in big round numbers.
Okay, so Jason, you had indicated, or Carol had indicated, and I know that we had $60,000 put aside in the budget just for this project.
Correct, yes.
Okay, and Carol, you're saying that to just replace the pipe and do the road would be $35,000?
Correct.
Okay. No, go ahead. No, I'm not done, but go ahead.
Yeah, so that's 95,000. We add the two together, right?
No.
No?
No, so 35,000 is if we just get a contractor to replace the pipe this year. And again, it's a round number, it's not an exact number. The low-volume road program won't pay to just replace a pipe, but they would pay for it if it's part of a bigger program to enhance water quality and improve that basin. And as I mentioned in my memo, that basin is sort of short-circuiting right now. It's not working like it should, and we've got some erosion downstream of the basin. So when we walked it with the County Conservation District, they said, you know, we would consider this as a project. To make it a project, it needs to be surveyed and engineered. So that would mean the township spending the money on me to do the survey and the design, and put that design in a format to present it to the Conservation District with a grant application. And I'm estimating that would be about $9,500, so $9,500.
And how much do you estimate we would ask for in the grant to do that work?
Well, we would ask for the total price of the project, whatever that might be. I don't know what that would be today, because I don't know exactly what the project is until we get there. But the grant does not have a match requirement for construction, so the township's outlay would be the design and the engineering and the grant application, but the actual construction would be funded by the grant.
Thank you.
So how deep is that pipe in the road? Are there any plans? I saw that you had provided plans.
We don't have much in the way of plans, but it is rather deep. I mean, walking out there, it's a good 12 feet deep.
12 feet deep.
Yeah.
That is deep. So would you imagine that it, because I actually went out and looked at that inlet where I see the pipe. So are we saying it goes down on
Yes.
An engineer actually put a pipe straight down all the way, 12 foot under the ground.
It's down on a steep angle. The basin is rather deep, so it goes
Right.
down to that bottom of that basin.
So do you think maybe there's another pipe that goes down and then goes straight out to the outlet? Or is that just one contiguous pipe that goes all the way
It's
down?
one pipe going from the top side of the road, under the road, and discharging down low in the basin.
Okay. So how do we know that it's corroded if it's buried that deep?
Because we can look at the end of it when we stand inside the basin, and you can see the corrosion.
Okay.
And the fact that the top of the basin, that subdivision was built back in late 80s, early 90s, and it's just been in the past couple of years past like 4 years that we've suddenly seen a dip in the pavement. So something's changed out there, and going out there and looking up that pipe, you could see the corrosion. Unfortunately, corrugated metal pipes don't have the lifespan that HDPE or reinforced concrete have. They do rot over time. We've had that in other places in the township. I've had that in other municipalities I serve, where we just suddenly have a hole in the road because that corrugated metal pipe rotted out.
So would you say that basin is actually failing or just kind of needs an upgrade?
Well, I don't have the original plan for that basin. The only plan I have is exactly what you saw in
Right.
the file. There's not much. But it's very odd that the inflow and the outflow are directly opposite each other without much distance between them. So it really sort of short circuits. Whatever comes in flows right out again. And then the bulk volume of the basin is off to one side, and it's a little low there because some ponded water was evident.
Right.
But, so I would imagine that we would be looking at a plan to replace that pipe, do some regrading, maybe some amended soils at the bottom of that basin, and alter the outflow so that it's further away from the inflow. That might be closing it up and putting a pipe extension
Because
so you
they're
go in
like
somewhere
kissing
else.
cousins. They're like right,
Yeah, so that the water goes out, some of the pollutants can settle out, maybe we have some amended soils to deal with some pollutants, and then we bring it in, back into the pipe and take it out the discharge, and look at whether or not we could reduce the discharge rate to reduce some of the erosion downstream. That's all speculative because I don't really have the data to design with right now.
got it.
But clearly, that would ultimately be a project that costs more than $35,000. But that would be a grant-funded project because it's dealing with the water quality improvements to that basin.
So we would be looking at 9,500 for you to just do the preliminary work to get the grant to put in for it. Then we have the entire cost of whatever it would be to do the work, and then there's the bidding, it's additional engineering. So what was the original $60,000 budgeted for? Was that to pave the road?
That was a guesstimate to,
Yeah,
I think
that was just that was an estimate just to replace the pipe.
Oh, to replace the pipe?
Yes.
60,000 to replace it was just like a
Yeah, that's just a ballpark number because we didn't have any engineering, and as Carol said, we've been unable to locate the plans.
right, but it's going to be 35.
We looked at it more closely. We actually went over it with Mr. Sachs's son to talk about what would be involved. He didn't have a plan, so this is all, a little bit of a dart at a board. We just got the dart closer.
Right.
To say, we're looking in the 35,000 range if we're doing this ourselves.
Okay, and this is going to go under the low-volume gravel road grants?
If we did this that way,
Okay.
yes.
I know we did one back in 2020. I think we did one with that grant back
We've
then.
done a couple. We've done one on Kratz Road, and then we did the Swamp Creek Road culvert replacement, which was a very successful project, very impressive project.
Okay. I don't know, does anybody have any other questions or concerns?
Yeah, just to add on what Noel asked, so my understanding of what you're saying is just to replace the pipe would be approximately $35,000, but because the grant is to improve overall water quality, we could theoretically do a bigger project and make it other things better.
Correct.
I'm not using technical terms there, but
do it all in one project.
thank you. Do it all in one project.
All in one project and get grant money for it. Yes, ma'am.
That works for me.
So Carol, the only question I had is, so this one looks like it's a viable project for the low-volume road grant funding. Are there any other alternatives to this one if we didn't want to do this one, or is this the one that jumps out the most from the standpoint of probability of success from the getting the grant perspective?
It's really sort of the other way around. We've been looking at this problem for a little while and wanting to solve it before it's a catastrophe, but we weren't sure how to fund it. And so the low-volume road program is a viable funding source. We suspected it might be a viable funding source, but we didn't know that until we walked out there with the Conservation District and talked about how it could be done.
Does the Conservation District agree that that basin is not failing, but could probably use a tweak?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, are there any other questions? Any other concerns? No? Okay, well, there is a motion before us this evening to authorize the township engineer to conduct a survey and engineering in an amount not to exceed $9,500 for the Creekside Way low-volume road grant. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Supervisor Jarena made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Supervisor Sachs makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes unanimously. Next item up on our agenda is authorization to prepare a bid for Babington.
Before you go any further, I guess then really Carol could be paid out of some of that 60,000 for that. Am I correct?
For the engineering with the liquid fuels, I'm not sure.
There was more put in than what the pipe would cost.
Yeah. So,
It couldn't be paid out of liquid fuels because it wouldn't be.
Is that what?
liquid fuels.
yeah, not for
under
the
liquid
engineering.
fuels?
Yeah,
Oh,
so it'd
okay.
have to be under general.
Yeah.
I'm
That's what
guessing.
I just.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
had
know
it,
was under general.
yeah, we had it under liquid fuels for the
Thank
replace.
you. I just wanted to check on that.
Okay, then. Sure, could you come up, state your name, your address? Okay.
Does any of this plan and have anything to do with repaving the road?
Well, you'd certainly want to fix this failure before you repave that road.
Yeah, I would think it'd be something that might be done concurrently. I know that the road's been a problem.
Yeah, so we can't use low-volume road money to pave a road. So that would have to be a separate, that we'd have to separate that project and put it under liquid fuels.
So the road situation isn't even being considered until after the pipe thing's out of the way.
You definitely want to fix the drainage problem before we pave the road, absolutely.
Okay, the next item on our agenda this evening is authorization to prepare the bid for the Babington Road base repair.
So the pavement on Babington Road is in very poor condition. And there's also a shallow cross pipe that needs to be replaced in addition to the paving repairs. So late last year, we marked out areas for base repair. These areas would be milled down to a 4-inch depth and then paved with 4 inches of 19 millimeter, and then those repairs sealed. Similar to the process used on Fulmer Road, the surface of Babington could then be sealed with chip seal in the following year. That would be a good cost savings over coming back with a wearing course. The base repair and the pipe replacement work is projected cost in the range of $80,000 to $100,000. So we're really getting into a project that might be prevailing wage rates. And because the costs are approaching this threshold, we're recommending that the township bid this as a project. So that would require authorization to prepare bid documents. And ideally, if we could also get authorization to advertise the bid in the same motion, I'd like to get this out as soon as possible. We're getting really good prices on paving because we're still early in the season, but the later in the year we get, the higher the prices get and the less competitive the bids are. So what I'm asking is consideration of authorization to prepare bid documents and to advertise the bid once they're prepared.
Do you have an estimate of what it would cost you to prepare the bid documents?
I should have that at hand. I apologize for that. The actual preparation of the bid documents, just trying to think of something we've done recently. It's really to get it to the point where it's up on pen bid, including pre-bid meetings and such, we're usually in the range of like 11,000, but to get it all the way up to pen bid. Does that sound right? Let's see if I can find a similar project.
Carol, that seems very high.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have been prepared for that question, and I had other prep work.
Do you want to look? We can put this aside, go on to the next one, and give you a chance to look?
Yeah, that would be super.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's
Come
what we'll
back to
do.
me and I'll
Okay,
give you
we'll
a
put that
number.
aside for now. We'll jump on to the next item for the Public Works request for the 2026 road sweeping approval.
Okay. So this is something we've done the last few years. This would fall under line item 438, 200 roads and bridges contractors, which is budgeted. It's not 31.5, it's actually 33,000 for this year. Our bidding thresholds for 2026 would be below 13,200. We require no formal bidding or written telephonic quotations, which both of these quotes fall under that Tommy got for us. As was the case last year, we don't anticipate going over 8,000 for road sweeping, as this would normally take no more than 40 hours from completion. Due to the amount of material used this year during winter, we may have more cleanup than previous years, but this would allow, based on the quote that we received, this would allow us to pick whomever we like for the job. Much like last year, we thought it'd be smart to provide multiple quotes to the board prior to choosing a contractor. Both contractors are reputable. Tommy would like to move forward with PK Moyer, which is who we've used the last few years, and they are the lowest bid, or lowest quote.
Okay, does anybody have any questions, any comments? It's pretty straightforward. Okay. All right, not seeing any questions or comments. The recommended motion is to accept the quote from PK Moyer dated 2/25 for the 2026 Township Road sweeping and further authorize the Township Manager to sign any paperwork necessary. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion.
I'll second it.
Supervisor Orff makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
passes unanimously. Next is the Public Works request for rental of mini excavator for 2026 township projects.
So Public Works is requesting a rental of a mini excavator, which is what they did last year for their projects. This includes their primary projects of pre-chip seal road work, the 10 to 24 inlet replacements. They'd also be able to use it on the roadside ditch and swale cleanup. The monthly rate for this excavator is $2,995. Tommy's asking the board to consider 4 to 5 months. We did budget around a little over $10,000 for rentals. So that would give us about 3 months worth that we've budgeted for, but I know the plan is to start a little earlier this year to make sure we don't run up against it with the chip seal roads.
So you say you budgeted 10,000 for rentals.
Yes.
That would get us 3 months.
And this is something that we need to keep under the bidding threshold for telephonic bids, so which I believe is 12.5. or 13 something? What is it? 13.2 now. So if you do decide to authorize that, I would say, that they cannot spend more than $13,200 because then we would have to be bidding it out.
So we're looking at 3 months based on,
You could get 4.
oh, 4 months. Okay, 4.
4.
4. All right, but we only budgeted for 10, so, okay.
That would be 3. Yes.
That's the other part of this.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, really what could happen if we plan for 3, see where the guys are at, this could come back to the board to consider if they've got more projects where they can see, utilizing that piece of equipment.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
If you're going to do this, I'd make a deal with wherever you get it, to rent it for the 3 or 4 months and then buy the machine. Take that money and have it, and make a deal with them that all the money would go down on that machine for a down payment. This is the way to do that as a business. This way, then, after that, after you finance it, you'll have just a small payment each month. And you can budget that in very easy than trying to budget in a $90-some thousand machine or.
I know this piece of equipment was on the want list.
But you got to get what you want because it's got to be a brand-new machine, okay? And you put it under a rental purchase deal in the beginning.
Would that be like a lease to own, Terry? Like,
Yes, it's a rental purchase, and then all that money would go down on it, which would give you your down money and then finance the rest. I'd like to see you do that.
I don't know if they're co-stars or not. We'd have to look at their co-stars.
I mean, that works, but the one thing is we'd have to make sure they're co-stars, otherwise we'd have to, even though it's a lease purchase, we'd have to do a bid on it. But if it's a co-stars, then we could work it out.
I think you can,
Yeah.
but check into it, but I think you can.
Okay, so is this something we can come back to?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yep.
let's move forward with getting the guys what they need, and we can kick the tires on this idea. And, yeah, look at that. Yeah. Okay, so are there any other questions, any comments? I think we're deciding on 4 months. Is that what we're deciding on? 3. We're going with 3 months. Okay. No, I'm doing math real quick. Hold on. So that's 8985. Okay, so the motion before us,
Is it the 3 or 4 months, Jason?
he just said 3.
Well, 3 keeps it under the budget, so that's where you got to decide. If
Okay,
you go
fair
4,
enough.
it's going to,
And we can revisit it again. Okay. All right, the motion before us this evening is to authorize the rental of a John Deere 50P compact excavator for 3 months in an amount not to exceed $8,985. I will make that motion. Is there a second?
Is there any additional cost to this, or is that all up? Like, is there going to be any taxes or anything else on it? That's all up? Okay, I'll make the second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go back to the Babington Road base repair with a not to exceed.
Thank you for the pause. To prepare bid documents and an advertisement and upload to Penn Bid, we could do that for $2,500.
2,500, okay. So the motion before us this evening is, that's a far cry from $11,000, yeah. Yeah. All right, so the motion is to authorize the township engineer at a cost not to exceed $2,500 to prepare the bid documents for the Babington Road base repair project and advertise and have uploaded to Penn Bid. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Supervisor Orff makes the motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Jarena makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Next on our agenda this evening is the Public Works request for the pre-chip seal road work authorization via the equipment bid.
That comes back to me again. So the chip seal equipment is out for bid, and those bids are due March 17th. Before those roads are sealed, pavement base repairs are required. We previously identified areas that require base repair on Wilson, Smith, Memorial, and the segment of Delphi that goes from Meng towards Game Farm. And the budget for those repairs is $25,000. If so directed by the board, these advanced repairs can be completed by Saks and Sons using the equipment bid, and the asphalt materials can be purchased by the township via CoStars. Authorizing this work will get it on the Saks and Sons schedule sooner, and also allow us time to secure approval from PennDOT if we want to use liquid fuels money to pay for this base repair work. So we're looking for that authorization for the pavement base repair work using the equipment bid and, of course, purchasing materials with CoStars.
Any questions, any comments?
I will abstain from this.
Oh, Supervisor Sachs is going to recuse himself from the vote. Okay. Okay, so not seeing any questions, any comments. The motion before us this evening is to authorize the use of the township equipment contract for base repairs and road patchwork on roads scheduled for chip and seal in the amount not to exceed $25,000. Can I get a motion?
Also move.
Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Orff makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next item on our agenda is Public Works. Nope, we just did that one. They're running together. Sewer request, suction line for sewer plant installation approval.
So this was part of a project that was budgeted for $50,000 to come out of the sewer capital fund for this year. Alltech Industrial Services, we do have a longstanding relationship with them. They do a lot of our repair work. Tommy has confirmed while the estimate is old, it's still good for the work. And this is, by the way, this is installation of a 6-inch suction line for bypass pumping at the sewer plant headworks.
And Alltech's going to come out and take care of this.
Yes.
Okay, I'm okay with this, but I would prefer to either get an updated estimate or get something memorialized in writing from Alltech that this is actually a good quote, just in case. Just to cover ourselves, that's all.
So do you want to make a motion contingent on that, or you just want to table it? Make the motion contingent on an updated quote?
Yes, we'll make the motion contingent on that, yes,
Okay.
yes. I want to move forward with that, yes.
Okay.
That's fair enough. Is everybody okay with that? Not to exceed 9,000, just in case?
And I just had a question related to the nature of this. Is this a failure of a piece of existing piping or plumbing?
I'm going to go right to the expert.
Yeah, I just, because I'm reading the words here and we're bypassing things and I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing.
4-inch line, 30 foot down to bypass the headworks. This will allow us, the pipe will be a constant fixture.
Okay,
We can actually hook the pump up with one person instead of 6 of us.
that's awesome. Okay.
So,
Very
and
good.
it'll be like we have at the other lift stations.
Okay, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. Any other questions? Any comments? Okay. The motion before us is to authorize the installation of a 6-inch suction line for bypass pumping at the sewer plant headworks in an amount not to exceed $9,000 with an updated quote by Alltech Industrial Services per their estimate, and further authorize the township manager to sign any paperwork necessary to complete the project. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. I will make the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next is the zoning hearing board application for 105 Colonial Drive.
right. So this is an application received. This hearing is scheduled for Monday, March 16th, 2026. It's zoning hearing board number 2026-02. Adam Kleckner, who is the property owner, requests the following relief from and pursuant to the ordinance to facilitate the construction of a pole barn accessory to a single-family dwelling upon real property commonly referred to as 105 Colonial Drive. He's requesting a special exception pursuant to ordinance 170-24.C2 to allow the total floor area of all accessory buildings on the subject property to exceed 1,500 square feet. A variance from ordinance 170.41.1.E1 to allow land disturbance within hydric soils, and a variance from ordinance 170.44.A7 to allow existing accessory structures within the required rear yard setback. And as the board's aware, you have several options before you in regards to.
Yes, we have 7. We have 7 options.
So just to clarify, they're asking for exemption from steep slopes. Is that it? No.
No. Total floor area of the accessory building on the subject is going to exceed 1,500 square foot. They need a variance for land disturbance within hydric soils, and they're looking for a variance to allow existing accessory structures within the required, so they need relief from the setback, the rear setback. From what I read in the application, that none of their neighbors has an objection to this.
So even if the zoning hearing board grants this, they still have to comply with other things like stormwater.
Correct.
This does not exempt them from any of those other requirements.
No.
If there's anything else related to these, they still have, so as long as they understand they have to be in compliance with all the other
Correct.
things.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
And we did have a staff meeting with the resident, their engineer, just to kind of go over that particular stuff, which is kind of how this came about as far as their variance application.
Does anyone have any questions, any comments? Or does anyone want to assume that we're going to take no action at this time? Let the zoning hearing board move forward with what they need to do?
Yeah, I mean, one of the conditions on this is related to hydric soils, and a very large house was constructed on hydric soils that, what do you call that, borders this property. So I think since, given past history in that area, I think it would be wise just to hand it off to the zoning hearing board as was done with the previous item.
I agree. Anyone else? This is not emotional. This is not a motion. This is just consensus. Okay. Crystal? Okay. Terry?
No comment.
Yeah, we're taking no action.
No action.
Yes, option 1, motion to acknowledge the application, but we're not taking any action at this time. Okay, we can move on to our next item on the agenda. Resolution for the fee schedule adoption. And what's the number on this?
This would be 2026 R-06.
06? Okay, last week we did, during the work session, we discussed some of the fee schedules, added sewer billing fees to the fee schedule, couldn't find where they were at. So there is a stated 10% late penalty fee at the end of the month that it's due, establish a lien fee of $59, shut-off fee of $50, and that's for the SBA to shut the water off. Add back the $25 permit for resurfacing and altering existing driveways. Raise the zoning hearing board conditional use to $850. And this would only be a $50 increase from our current $800, which is a raise of $1,300 for non-residential, $1,600 for hearings in conjunction with land development. And we are still going to circle back around to the difference between minor subdivisions and a basic line. We're going
Yes.
to
Yep.
get to that one later.
Yep.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Okay, not seeing any. The recommended motion is to move to adopt Resolution 2026-R06, adopting the 2026 fee schedule. Can I get a motion?
Also move.
Give it to Marla.
Okay, Supervisor Hexter makes the motion. Supervisor Orff makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously. The next item up is a resolution for the annual criteria for the Lower Frederick Township Volunteer Local Tax Credit Program. This
For the fire company.
Yeah, okay, that's what's missing here. So it is a resolution for the annual criteria for the Lower Frederick Township Volunteer Fire Department Local Tax Credit Program. This is an annual resolution, needs to be adopted for the members of the Lower Frederick Fire Company to receive their tax credits. And Jason, can you give a quick overview on how that works, in case anybody doesn't know?
Yes, so I believe this end of.
back.
Way back.
Yeah, like 2017,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
So the program criteria, the volunteers must have participated in at least 25% of emergency calls for the calendar year, not including fire police calls. They must have participated in at least 50% of the fire company training drills for the calendar year, and the volunteers must have participated in at least 50% of the fire company's fundraising activities for the calendar year. So what we receive is a note of
You should have a list
We-
of the
we-
people that qualify for it.
Yeah, so we have a list that
That's correct.
that comes from the fire company that's notarized, that verifies
Yeah.
who qualifies.
And we do have our list. It's verified by the police chief. I just wanted an overview of how that actually works. So so this is resolution 07. Okay.
We did it last year.
Yep. I don't think we've missed a year since 2017, have we?
No.
No. Okay, that's good. Right. I'm waiting for Dan. You didn't think I would just sit here all quiet, did you? It's okay. Here we go. So the motion before us is to adopt Resolution 2026-R07, establishing the annual criteria for the Lower Frederick Township Volunteer Fire Department to be
Lower Frederick Township
Local,
Fire Department volunteer
local tax.
to be certified. That's okay. That's all right. All right, start over again. Here we go. The motion is to adopt Resolution 2026-R07, establishing the annual criteria for Lower Frederick Township Fire Department volunteers to be certified under the local tax program in 2020,
It's for
for
2025.
2025.
Yes.
It's for tax purpose. Okay.
Correct.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second.
Supervisor Hexter makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next is the police request donation of Police Explorer to the Lower Frederick Fire Company for training. This vehicle's making the rounds.
So this vehicle was donated by Plymouth Ambulance. I don't know, well before I started here. I don't believe it's even on the books. It's not even roadworthy at this point, so I'd like to donate it to the fire company for their training.
No problem. Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
So you're just going to have it towed over there?
We'll get it there, no problem.
We'll get it there
Okay.
one way or another. They'll get it over
We
there.
just didn't want somebody to drive by going, why is there a police car getting trained on without your guys being aware?
Understood. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so this isn't hard. The motion is to authorize the donation of the 2008 Police Explorer to the Lower Frederick Fire Company for its training. I will make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Orff makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. And last but not least, Fire Police requests for the Lower Frederick Park and Rec Board for 2026 events in the Borough of Conshohocken for 2026 St. Patrick's Day Parade. The Park and Rec requests, to make it easier since they have multiple events this year, asking to approve the Fire Police for their 4 events in advance. Good idea. We have the Egg Hunt at Coble Park, Saturday, April 4th, Spring Festival, Saturday, May 9th, the concert at Cuddy Park, Thursday, July 23rd, the concert for Cuddy Park, Thursday, July 27th, as well as the Borough of Conshohocken. His request was received through Chief Cass from the Conshohocken Police Chief. The request times are 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. for March 14th with the rain date of March 21st. Any questions? Comments?
I just have a question, I guess, for Katie. Are we only having 2 concerts this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Different event that's currently in the works in June, and it's with the Music Depot, and it might be kind of it's Becky's Brainchild, and it's kind of a music festival with some of the students at the Music Depot.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting. Okay. Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Warren? No, just on that. We're on the final item of our agenda. We're getting to that part. It's okay. Okay. Can I lump both of these motions together? Are we okay with that? Great. All right. The authorization the motion is to authorize the use of Lower Frederick Fire Company Fire Police at the events originally scheduled. Use of Lower Frederick Fire Company Police at the events scheduled on April 4th, May 5th, July 23rd, and August 27th, including rain dates, sponsored by the Lower Frederick Township Park and Rec Board in 2026, and further move to additionally authorize the township manager to submit a formal request to Upper Salford Township and Limerick Township for use of fire police for these events. The authorization for the use of Lower Frederick Fire Company Fire Police at the request of the Borough of Conshohocken for its 2026 St. Patrick's Day Parade to be held on March 14th of 2026. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Supervisor Sachs makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Supervisor Jarena makes the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That concludes our business portion of our meeting. We are now on to public comment. Warren?
Warren Jacobs, Fulham Road. So in the beginning of the meeting was a real ominous looking agenda, and I know you were trying to move it along and expedite things. And obviously you did a really good job because it's only 8:30. So since it's only 8:30, would it be possible to listen to Chief Cass's presentation, see until he got bypassed? Because it sounded like he had something that he really wanted to
I'm
talk
sorry,
about.
who's, what? What was that?
Chief Cass.
Chief Cass?
His police report kind of got squashed, and it sounded like he really wanted to tell us about some stuff.
No, there was just one thing in particular, and it was a joint memo from the district attorney and the Police Chiefs Association regarding ICE.
And that's all I know about it so far.
It's going to be posted, so it's a joint statement by the Montgomery County District Attorney and the Police Chiefs Association of Montgomery County. What any law enforcement officer will do in Montgomery County regarding ICE operations. The board gave permission to Jason to post it, so the statement will be posted on the Facebook page, and that way everything is laid out crystal clear of what we will and will not do.
That's it.
You didn't want to expand on that, you just wanted to let us know that.
It's simply the statement that every officer and police chief in Montgomery County is following.
Okay. Are there any other public comments? Anyone from our, no? No one? Okay, we can move on to supervisor comment. Are there any comments from any of the supervisors?
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about our jobs here. So our job is health, welfare, and safety of the community. You've seen from our agenda, it covers a lot of that. That means policing, that means roads, that means water, all the things that keep our residents safe, and road plowing. And all 5 of us are different people. We come at it from different ways. I think that's a good thing. But sometimes making the soup is hard and it takes a long time. And I guess I just want to tell all the residents that it may not always be clear how we get to our decisions. It may not always be quick how we get to our decisions, but I can tell you that we all work hard here to do the right thing for everybody in the community. And we do appreciate your input. Input we get is negative, but we are up here to do the right thing and to make the township a great place to live. So that's our mandate, and that's what we're here for. So thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you, Marla. Anyone else? Okay, not seeing any. This meeting is adjourned.